Hi, it's Nigel from ESBE here with Nigel from Secon.
Hiya.
So can you just talk us through a few of the products through the ESBE valves that you've got on display here?
Yeah, so what we've tried to bring is a real cross-section of what's available from ESBE. So we've got the control valves at this end with a weather compensated room sensor and weather compensated controllers.
When I've been showing people these controls, have some real good interest on them. People don't know they exist. It's just a bit of a controller that sets a mixed flow temperature, and we add all sorts of accessories onto it. Are you finding some quite good interest from your installers with that?
But what a lot of people have asked is kind of, what does it do? You know, they kind of come and they see the mixing valves, diverting valves, and then once you explain that you don't need to buy a full control system, it's really simple. It's just an add-on, and then you've got your room sensor, and then you can kind of add an external sensor for weather compensation. They're keen to know, and the fact that they don't have to fork out thousands of pounds for a control system kind of really helps them.
Yeah, because I think when people go to an ESBE valve, they think they need to have a controller and they're going in and wiring in our actuator to the controller.
Yeah.
But they don't understand we've got our self-contained unit.
Yeah.
They just go into a retrofit property and stick all that kit in.
And it's dead easy. It's just a kind of an add-on. You buy the valve, you buy the head with a room sensor, and then you can just add the bits on. And yeah, we found people are kind of looking at that out of interest. So that's really good. Yes. And then we've kind of moved on to what we class as our standard ranges of diverting and the mixing. So everybody kind of knows the VRGs and the ARA heads, and kind of interested into kind of where they would use them, why they would use them. The big question is why use ESBE? And we're saying, well, the KVS values, the quality of the build, and then they're kind of asking the differences why they should maybe go with an MBA over the VRGs. And we're just trying to advise them as to kind of what's the best system, and even to some saying, looking at the VRG 131s as a diverting valve as opposed to the 230 series. So it's been really interesting, and it's just getting people used to them and using them in kind of like a heat pump scenarios, kind of, our installers who are used to maybe a more traditional spring return valve.
Yeah, I think people are used to plumbing in this direction. We have the heat source coming in through the centre port of the valve, and then it's distributing onto the run ends, where we can offer different configurations, and it's explaining that's what valve you have, that's how it needs to be plumbed in. It's just getting that mindset that it's slightly different.
We're talking to a few people. I say, are you looking to use the 131s that they already use them? I said, well, you can use them in a diverting application. It's just picking the right head, and that's a good thing with the VRG range. You just select the head, and you can kind of get the package of the installer wants.
Do you find any problems with the head selection? Because I spend a lot of technical support time advising people which head to buy for each application.
Not a lot. I think some of you get some installers that know what they want, and they know the drive time and everything like that. But we just tend to go with try and keep it simple for them. So we have the range, if it's a diverting head, it's a 645. And if we're getting into more mixing, we might start to talk a little bit more about drive times. But, we just try and keep it as simple as possible. And we've got some literature that helps select and, that we put together. So just trying to make it easy for the installer, really.
I think there's a simple message. You need a 2-point actuator for diverting and a 3-point for mixing.
Yeah, that's right.
And we do complicate it slightly by saying you can use a 2-point as a 3-point.
Yeah.
We all learned when we were out in Sweden last year.
Yeah. So, but no, it's like I said, for us, with the ESBE range, it's about kind of, people are used to the standard kind of spring return, and it's getting them to appreciate why they should maybe pay just a little bit more money to get a better quality valve with a better KVS value, less resistance, and the impact that'll then have on the system. And once you start to explain it to them, and along with the ESBE app, which is the sizing app, it's kind of really easy.
That's what I found, that a lot of people don't understand how to size valves for mixing applications, and you can show them really complicated graphs and how to size them, but you just show them the app, and now it's really easy to size the valve using the app.
Well, just on the simple sizing guide that you've developed on the back here for kind of delta T's, output for the heat pumps. Again, it just keeps things really, really simple for a customer coming in and kind of just wants to have a quick selection, right, that's what I need. So,
Yeah.
And then the other side of that is we're then making sure that they get the right fittings and everything like that to put the system together.
Yeah. So I really like this kit. What are you going to do with it after the show?
Well, we have a training academy up in our office in Sunderland. It'll go back in there. So Nick, our technical director, has kind of built this for that purpose. So we wanted something in there that when installers come in, we can show them kind of the products that they want, why they should be using them. And this is a fully interactive display with them. So Nick's built-in potentiometers and all just to kind of so people can actually have a hands-on experience with the valves as well.
Okay. That's great. We're also running a VIP installer program with yourselves, a joint initiative between ESBE and Secon. Just want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, so kind of the VIP install is to encourage installers to come, to look and to use. And so we're rewarding them to use ESBE products. A lot of people that are transitioning from the gas market maybe aren't aware of ESBE. They're used to the kind of the traditional kind of valves that are already out there, and they don't know the ESBE product. And so we're trying to introduce them to that and to encourage them to kind of get online with that. We've got a program which is the VIP, where they can buy packages, and we kind of put these packages together, or they can buy the individual valves, and we reward them with points. When they get a certain amount of points, they can buy tools that are useful for the industry. So it may be just a flex bucket, or it may be a kind of a Milwaukee drill set, but it's whatever they want to use. And we've got a lot of interest in that. People saying, right, okay. And so we will kind of keep pushing that. For a 3-month period, we'll see what success rate we get with it.
Do you find you have some installers that are using ESBE for the first time, the transitioning from a more traditional valve to an ESBE valve?
Yeah, we do. And some of them, they come with questions. So we have our tech team on the end of the telephone. So they come with questions, and we can answer those questions. And with the support of yourself and Nick, our technical director, we kind of advise them kind of, again, why they should be using certain valves and the benefits of them, and getting them to understand the hydronics element of a heat pump system is massively different to a boiler system where people are used to putting combi boilers in and just turning up the pump and letting
they're much more forgiving than
yeah. Whereas heat pump, because of the delta T's and the higher flow rates, higher resistances, people have to learn to understand that it can cause problems in the system. So using the right valve,
you're collecting the right component will make the system more efficiently and more
absolutely,
robust.
And give it longevity. What we're doing is trying to kind of people to understand that longevity is also key to kind of this. So you're not buying a valve that's going to last 2 years and replace. You're going to buy a valve that will last the life of the system.
And of course, with heat pumps, you're running at much higher flow rates, so it's going to take its toll on a valve much quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen it with people who are kind of putting a traditional spring return valve, and after 18 months are coming back because maybe the head's failing. And we're saying, well, that's probably because of the pressure on the system's causing it. There's too much pressure against the valve.
Yeah, more of a metal-on-metal mechanism that holds the components in there, so there's no way it can become distorted under higher pressures and higher flow.
That's right. Yeah, so again, it's all about education. And we found that kind of we're getting people to use the ESBE product. You just have to give them a little education and tell them why they're buying that valve. And once people understand why they're paying the additional kind of money, and it's not a lot more.
Yeah.
And when you're putting a heat pump system in that's £12,000 or £15,000,
to spend an extra £100 on a critical component in there.
Yeah. Well, even on the MBA valve, it's an extra £30. It's not a lot of money. On the ARA valve, maybe an extra £80. But in over £12,000-13,000, it's nothing.
And you're only buying the valve once, and you're replacing it after so many months.
Reducing callbacks, kind of the system's more efficient.
Yeah.
Everything's good with it. That's what we should be, educating the installer to do. Well, I think that the last training session we had was very well received. We've had an installer on today who attended it, and he kind of loved it. So we do plan to do more.
Great. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Nigel.
Thank you, Nigel. Always a pleasure.